Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here for another day of a Cabinet of Curiosiprompts. That is a art challenge hosted by myself, Priscilla, here at Release the Craftin, and my friend Tiff at AmethystRaven342. The hashtag is hashtag Curiosiprompts. It's where we've collected a bunch of curious and unique words and are making things with them. Stuff and things and stuff. And for the month of March, we're hosting this challenge. So feel free to join. Information description box below. All the things, they're down there. Today, the prompt is day 11, which is Mnesic, like Mnesic, which is an adjective which means pertaining to memory. Memory, getting demonetized. So I'm making tags this month, so we'll start with our tag and go from there. I have some thoughts and ideas. I'm also going to use pink, which is a color I almost never use, but I have. And so yeah, let's put it to work, right? So what I'm thinking is we'll start with this spun sugar and just see if we can get it into that background. This is probably the fastest way to color this up. And it's also fun. This is gonna be so wild. Okay, so I think I got it. I think I colored this. So that's a good start. And then I'm just gonna pick up color. I'm gonna wipe this down to blend in that color a bit, but also to pick up that very wet layer on top so that I don't keep lifting it with my fingers, as you can see. And then we have picked up the texture of the watercolor paper very nicely, might I add. And then, let me think about this. How do I want to approach this? I will be using a watercolor pencil. This is Kitsch Flamingo. And what I'm going to do is try to make marks that you can't see. That's what I'm going to do. How is it the same exact color? This is why I never bought Kitsch Flamingo, because I was not convinced that this was that much different. You think it would be. So, it does change my plans a bit. Because I wanted to use picked raspberry on top. I could use the pencil, but the pencil will be the same color as what I put on top of it. You know what I mean? Let me think. Okay, so I came back with watercolor. That was my solution. I have a thin brush, and I've just added some water to this. And we're just going to have a very loose hold because I can't hold it too tight or correct. And I'm just going to make squiggly lines. With sort of no real pattern in mind, no directions. We're just making squiggly lines. I'm going to try to not be super precious about anything. One, because it'll hurt my hand to be precious. But two, because most of it's going to be in the background anyways. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm making brains. I know it's gray matter, but pink brains are just much more satisfying. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, I need more water. Okay. Move faster, Priscilla. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You're giving the illusion of brains because the prompt is memory. And you can see, I mean, really random with like my directions and twists and turns. Because, like I said, it's to give the illusion of brains, not actually be brains, but also, like, it's all squished in there. Look, I'm only getting water and no color. Which is fine. We'll get, like, variations in tone. Squiggly brains, what can you talk about when making brains? I don't know. I really need to start thinking about stuff. Oh, you know what? I actually did. I did do that at an earlier time. I wrote down a little list of stories I could tell you guys. Which coincidentally are going to be pets I've had in the past because yeah, I like those stories. So when I was about let's say, I want to say like 9, I think, yeah, about 4th grade, I had a friend who lived in my apartment complex, and she had a German Shepherd who apparently got it on with the neighborhood stray chow dog, and this chow dog was so mean. It would chase us all the time in our apartment, and she ended up having like a whole litter of the cutest little puppies, and it was the first time that my mom was like, yeah, go over there and get a puppy. And I don't even know like how this came about, because I didn't even ask about puppies. I wanted to go see the puppies being born. So like my friend came to get me when it was time for them to be born, and then my mom was like, pick one and that one will be ours. So like I guess at some point my mom had talked to her mom about it and said that we would take a puppy, and I don't know, because like I wasn't involved in this process. I don't even recall asking for one, honestly. But yeah, I went over there, I got to watch this litter of puppies be born, and then I picked out one, and we named her Penny, because when she was born, she came out onto the floor, right? But on the floor was a penny. So that's how I ended up with Penny, the German Shepherd dog. And yeah, I can tell you guys right now, as a child, I was very creative at naming things. That convention still exists to this day. I struggle with names so much. So it's not cute because my hand is crazy, but it is the impression of brains we're going for. And if I wanted to, I could spend all day making it more complex, but I don't want to. Yeah. So when Penny came of age, we got to take her home. It was like a big thing. I was so excited. And then I found myself in the position of having all the responsibility of taking care of a dog that I didn't know I was going to have when I left my house that day. You know what I mean? Like, I was not prepared to be a responsible pet parent. And then my mom was like, all right, you have a dog now, it's yours. You gotta walk it, feed it, bathe it, do all the things. And so I was like, okay, so I went like really gung-ho for that. I need to dry this. I'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, so I got like really into it. I was all gung-ho, because now I have a dog, I have responsibilities, I gotta show my mom that I can have this dog and take care of this dog. So I was all in, walking the dog everywhere, doing the things, right? Feeding her every day. Penny and I were like this, except that for whatever reason, my mom had these weird, like, things where she was like, oh, you can't walk Penny after a certain time, which, you know, makes sense, I was a kid, but also, like, Penny can't sleep in your bed, she can't sleep in your bedroom, at nighttime, it's just you, you go to bed, your dog sits outside your door and whines for you until you fall asleep. And it wasn't until years later, by the way, you guys, that I found out my mom was letting Penny sleep with her, which I took personal offense to, because that was my dog. But, yeah, for whatever reason, my mom was like, no, you can't have your dog sleep with you. That's crazy. And I was like, what do you mean? I take care of her, and I'm being responsible, and I'm being an adult, doing all the things. there's a lot of color in this brush. And, like, you know, I was very offended because I was being the responsible party for this dog. And Penny was a cool dog, you guys. She was a German Shepherd Chow mix, so she was gigantic, and I was not. And so walking her, even as a puppy, like, once she got to be, like, medium sized, was a feat. She was a beast. It got to the point where, like, I couldn't keep up with her on foot. I would have to run to, like, walk her because she would pull me everywhere. So my brilliant idea was to get roller skates. My roller skates, I had roller blades. Get those, and then I could keep up with her. The problem was, on rollerblades, which I'm sure you guys have concluded yourselves, I had no control. I had no control whatsoever. With that, I didn't walk my dog. She walked me. She walked me everywhere. And it was kind of to the point where, like, our neighbors were so used to it that they were like, oh yeah, here's Priscilla getting dragged by her dog all through the complex again. And then they would holler at me outside of that and be like, be careful, you know, don't fall down. And you guys, I fell a lot. But it was also the time of my life. Like, it was great. I got to pretend that, like, Penny was Balto and took me everywhere on my sled, which was my roller skates. Although after a while I was, like, complaining to my mom because I was like, I keep falling and she keeps dragging me everywhere and I need help. And then my mom was like, I don't know why you're having a problem. And maybe it's because I was, like, 60 pounds, 80 pounds maybe, and this dog was a unit. You know, so we had her for a while, and this was just sort of the way that things were, the status quo, if you will, for quite a while. And she was actually a really good dog outside of dragging me to Kingdom Come and back again. But she was really protective, because anytime somebody would approach us when we were outside with Penny, she was like, actually not. These are my tiny people, and I am protecting them. So she was a cool dog. Unfortunately... Oh, that's so cool. Unfortunately, she was also a disaster for, like, apartment life because she was way too big to live in an apartment, which, like, was not her fault. In fact, it was my mother's fault. So she tore up our apartment anytime that, like, I was at school and my mom was at work. And then because she would tear up the entire apartment, my mom had to keep her in the bathroom, at which point she tore up all of the tile and all the things in there, and we kept getting in trouble with the landlord about the damage she was doing to the apartment. And then they kept, like, threatening to take our dog, and it turned into this, like, big thing. And then eventually my mom was like, we're gonna have to move. So we found a new apartment. They don't allow dogs, and so I had to give Penny away, which was devastating because that dog was my dog, despite all of my mom not letting her sleep in my bed with me. And so we had to give Penny back to the shelter, like to the pound, because we had to leave, and my mom took us to an apartment that didn't have dogs because it was for, like, a low-income apartment. So we actually downgraded in apartments because my mom couldn't afford the apartment we were in because we had a roommate. She left. It was a whole story. Not important. But the cool thing was that, like, I was bereft and devastated, okay, when we had to give Penny away because I love that dog so much. But I did end up seeing her a couple months later, adopted by a nice, lovely couple who would let me, like, walk down the road and go visit my dog for, like, the next couple of years until they moved away. And then I never saw Penny again, and it was very sad. But at least, like, you know, I got the closure that a lot of people don't get when they end up giving their dogs up for adoption, which is, you know, that she went to a good home and was taken care of. I got that little bit of closure. Did I want my dog, though? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so here's our background. So we have, like, the cogs of the thinking mind, our little brain in the background, and I don't know if I'm waving it enough, why my camera won't focus. It is the only thing. There we go. You can still see, like, the watercolor through the pink on top, which is cool and an unexpected effect. We have our brain, we have our gears of memory turning in the background, and then I thought for like a focal point, we would do this little close jar guy with this little brain dude. This little brain dude, this skull dude. So I need things. The question is, should I stamp the jar on vellum so that we can still kind of see the background through it? I think the answer is yes. I happen to have a piece of vellum. And then I have a little white piece of paper for our skull die. A little scratch scissors. But yeah, anyways, that's the entire story of Penny, the dog, and how much I loved her and was sad to see her go, and was happy to get a little bit of closure out of the deal. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. That was the entirety of my story that I had prepared in order to share with you guys about this dog. They used to drag me through the rocks, man. Like, oh my gosh. Our apartment complex was like on a hill, like a giant hill. So it was so fun to go flying down that. We used to go flying down it on our bikes, and then people would get mad at us because it was dangerous. I don't know if you guys know this yet from my stories, but if I could fly down a hill on a bike, I did. I did not care about anything else in that regard. Even like the fact that we would go all the way to the bottom of that hill and then walk all the way back up to the top in the summer heat in Nevada, which was 130 degrees. We would do that several times until we collapsed from heat exhaustion. And, like, you know, because it was the 90s, they let us do that. So, yeah, so, but, like, in this apartment complex were all these, like, drainage ditches, because it was, like, on a tier all the way down that hill, so, like, you know, there was, like, a level of apartments, it'd go down the hill, another level of apartments go down the hill, like, that's how it was built, which is so weird, but, they had these, like, water runoff ditches, to, like, control the water on every level, and we used to play in those all the time. But at the bottom of those was, like, a pit of rocks, so you would slide down the concrete, and then try not to slide so fast that you trip into the pit of rocks. Guess who did that a lot. But when I would, like, walk with Penny, she would drag me directly into that pit of rocks, like, without fail. At some point in time, I would end up in that pit of rocks on rollerblades, and have to, like, get out while also holding on to my dog, which was crazy. And honestly, I was talking to my mom about it not that long ago, which is why I was like, oh, I should share this story, because I was like, what possessed you to let me do this? And be like, yeah, that's normal and okay. And she was like, I don't know, you liked it, you seemed to like it. And I was like, you know what, you're not wrong. I had a great time. It just feels like with 2026 lens, no. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be doing this. Ooh, I could do it in clear on the top and then do the base. But I feel like I'm overcomplicating this, so I'm just going to do it in the black. It's fine. But I could make it look more like glass is what I was thinking. And that's not really necessary. It'll work. I don't know why I just scooped it all up like I was done. Hold on a second. Okay, that's better. And then I do think it needs like a little pole to hold up the skull. So we'll come back to that thought in a moment. If you were the lid. Okay. So, feet tool. getting like an even output of air. It might be time to get a new heat tool. I've had that one for a hot minute. So yeah, it might be time. Let's see. So quick little fussy cut. And we will be good to go. Do I have anything that says memory on it? Because that would also be very on the nose, but perfect. I kind of like this. It's giving like steampunk memory vibes. I should color in the moth. That's a good idea. Sorry, it takes a lot of focus to fussy cut apparently, because I was locked in. I don't know what else to talk about though. Stop it. You know what? It's just gonna come off. It doesn't need to have both antennae. It's not that serious. And we'll cut you out. Yes, I like this idea. I could have done it on acetate too and gotten like a totally clear background. That thought just occurred to me, but I kind of like that it's a cloudy sort of see-throughness, because that adds to the whatchamacallit. Like it separates it from the background, makes it a little bit more visible. But acetate would have worked really cool for it too. It just would have been a different effect. It's also now occurring to me as I stand here that I have a wicked headache. So, we're probably going to go lay down for a little bit after this. So I want a little post. Wait, be smarter. Be smarter. Where are you, silver? I mean, gold would work too. Yeah, we can have a gold display post. It's fine. Oh, the silver's right here. You guys. Right in front of my face. Just hold it up. I saw that they're making another Pride and Prejudice thing for Netflix, which is kind of funny. I've seen a lot of like different reviews and thoughts and feelings about it. I like Pride and Prejudice. It's fine. You know, I'm not like the biggest fan. But people are like, I think we have enough. I think we've seen enough. We've got every version possible. And then somebody that I like, it's an author named Don Martin, was like, arguably the better version of Pride and Prejudice is Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, which is actually my favorite version of Pride and Prejudice, because I love a zombie movie, and I love recontextualizing classics as zombie films or horror films. So yeah, it's actually my favorite version, which I know if you are a big Jane Austen fan is probably a little bit blasphemous, but yeah, that's just how I feel. You know, I don't know if I feel like over it and done, like there's enough Pride and Prejudices. I think everyone, like every generation, does their classics over again. In the video that Don was doing where he was talking about it, he was like, can we move away from doing these things again, like Peter Pan and Pride and Prejudice and you know, like basically like the classic IPs that we repeat over and over again. And I was like, I get the sentiment, I do, because, you know, like we want to make room for like original content and stuff, but at the same time, like I like seeing new takes on the old things and how like newer generations versus older generations interpret the same material, and like what they prioritize and what they leave out and stuff like that. I did not go watch Wuthering Heights, even though I was a little bit excited for it until I saw the casting choices. Because I mean, I love Margot Robbie, but I was like, we're just gonna ignore the elephant in the room and the fact that Heathcliff is a person of color in the books. Okay. Not a choice for me, but like a choice you made. So yeah, I did not go watch it because of that. Oh yes, this is perfect. But then I felt a little bit vindicated because apparently they don't really have that much chemistry between each other, which I kind of like picked up. You know, you can kind of tell like when actors have good chemistry, like when they're doing their press tours and they're interacting with each other, because you can kind of see it, like if the chemistry is there or not. And yeah, they just didn't have it during the press tour, so I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. And yeah, a lot of the reviews came back, and that was the biggest complaint, was that they had no chemistry. And I was like, you know, like, is what it is. I'm gonna chop this down a little bit so I don't end up shooting myself in the foot with it later. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't go see it, because I would have been really mad if they had no chemistry and it was like whitewash casting, which, like, I don't know how I feel about Emerald Fennell now that I've seen her interviews about it, because she said some stuff that I was like, you know, it feels like you didn't have to double down. You could have just said, like, here's what we decided to go with, or the direction we decided to go with. You don't have to double down with your decision to purposefully not cast a person of color. Because at this point, it's just like Wuthering Heights, the fairy tale, the fanfic. I forgot I was going to color the moth. Let me think. What would be a good color for the moth? I mean, I could make it pink to go with the whole pink theme. Yeah, jeez. But I don't know how you guys felt about it. I'd be very curious. I have not seen anyone in like my immediate circle go and watch it, so I haven't heard anything back from them on that regard. A lot of my friends are readers or literary inclined, so I'm sure that they have, you know, like feelings on the matter that just haven't been voiced. If they've seen it, I would have heard it probably by now, but I haven't, so I feel like nobody's watching it, which is probably for the best, because I don't want to encourage this like weird revisionist retelling of stories. Like, I like, you know, I like adaptations. I like when stuff goes different. I like when stuff is deliberately different, like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, because it says it in the name exactly what the difference is. But, like, I don't like when we're being different for, like, the sake of TikTok, if that makes sense. Because that's just what it seems like, that this was a film shot for TikTok, and not for people who enjoy the story or would like to see the retelling done in, like, a different way. That's what it seems like. I don't know. I haven't seen it. So, like, this is just initial judgments, I guess, on things. But I think, like, the idea is to add to the story and not take away. And it feels like that's what happened, was I'm reading and trying to talk to you guys at the same time. Is that too much got taken away and not enough was added to make it, like, justifiable. Let me find one that's, like, memory related. Okay, I found something. I found it. Hold on, I lost it. Thoughts that whisper to my heart. The power of thinking. And where did it go? For thy sweet love remembered. So, quickie, inking. hand, if you were. So we'll start with the power of thinking. Stick. Okay, thoughts that whisper to my heart. Right here. For thy sweet love remembered. Come on now, stick to the thing. It's because of all the oxide. Stick. Sticker. And then, really? That's so interesting. Okay, apparently I just needed more glue. And then, I'm gonna get a pen, because they kind of get lost in there. And I'm just gonna very roughly outline. It's gonna be crazy looking because, like I said, that oxide is on there and it is thick. And then I think I want to etch it in black. And we'll pop our word on the back and be done. I really like this. This is not anything I would have anticipated. And yet, here we are. I think I need to be more aggressive with the black. Needs better framing. Yeah, that's better. Give it a proper frame. Okay, and then we'll do our brown. I don't really want the brown to be on the front, but I do want it to be there for posterity. Talk about things that you have to remember and stuff you will never forget. Alright, so that is Mnesic pertaining to memory. Love it. I'll get you guys up close so you can see what's going on in half a second. Ta-da! Ta-da! So, I love the little secret brain lines in the background. This is so fun and so pink. But pink and black are actually some of my favorite color combos. I did a journal like that ages and ages and ages ago. It was the first little junk journal I ever shared to YouTube. So it is way down there in that archive. But it was like punk rock and Lord Byron and black and pink. I loved it. It was so great. I still have it. So yeah, that's it. That is it. Come back tomorrow, see what we do for the next hashtag Curiosiprompts. Check out Tiff over at Amethyst Raven, see what she does. Make sure you check out the playlist in the description box below so you can see what everybody else is doing. And I'll catch you guys all again tomorrow for the next one. Until then, guys, happy crafting. I appreciate your faces, and goodbye.